Hey, this is Sensibility Speaks, and welcome to my channel. Thanks for stopping by, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. So, in this video, we are going to be talking about Chanel Scott and Shea Ministry because she is going to have Letitia and Marcel Scott on her panel tomorrow to talk about love and relationships and allegedly them giving the blueprint for successful marriages as if. But we're going to do another video on them after they actually do the show. But the purpose of this video is to kind of take a walk down memory lane, just to talk a little bit about Chanel Scott and do a reaction on when she actually interviewed Martell Holt. Okay, so it's pretty interesting that Chanel Scott is dubbed the queen of relationship talk. Well, actually, she is the founder and executive producer of the talk show Shea Ministry or Come Ministry. It airs on Fox Soul, and it offers candid conversation amongst celebrity influencers and things like that. But just looking at her IG page, she pretty much interviewed a lot of influencers, and it seems like quite a few of the people that she interviews for relationship talk and to give advice to the public are from the Love and Hip Hop cast, right? Be it from New York or Atlanta, or she interviews other. But my thing with her is she didn't really have the credentials that I can see, and I may be wrong, and drop down in the comments and let me know if I am. But I don't think she is a licensed therapist or a relationship coach or even a life coach for that matter, let alone a behavior psychologist or anything of the like. It seems like what she's trying to do is to fill in a void because she hasn't had a successful relationship in quite some time, in many years. And this is according to what she said in interviews. And she's never been married, but yet she is dubbed the queen of relationship talk. So I guess more or less she's a moderator or facilitator of conversation. And that would be fine because I'm not one to judge individuals. You don't have to have certain credentialings or a certain educational background to give good old common sense and sage, sound wisdom and advice and nuggets. But in her case, she's extremely biased, okay? And I don't want to get too deep into it now because I'm going to talk about it as I give my reaction to sound bites from her interview with Martell. And the reason why I'm doing this is because it's on the eve of Marcel and Letitia having their stint on a panel, right, to give it relationship advice. Yeah, so that's going to be pretty interesting. But you know who would be excellent to host a show like this? Rebecca Lynn Hope. I think she's dope. She actually had a show on OWN, and I think the name of the show was Marry Me Now. I didn't like the premise of the show because it was women proposing to men, but I like the fact that Rebecca Lynn Hope is an advocate for women, right? She gave good advice to the people. She was caring and compassionate, and she showed a lot of empathy. And I'm going to play a little snippet of her giving some advice as well on a panel. And I don't want to put the cart before the horse. I'll let you hear it as we go. But I think also another good person to host a panel like this who would be a fair and unbiased moderator would be Crystal XO. I really love her show. I've seen her do numerous interviews, especially for the Ready to Love cast and some others. All in all, both of those sisters would be powerful on a panel such as this to moderate because they're unbiased and they each bring a unique perspective, and they've both been married and they've both been divorced and remarried, you know, whereas Chanel Scott is a pick-me begging and dying for someone to pick her. But we'll delve into it. All right. Let's get into it, shall we?
All right, so now I want to talk to Martell about this next component of rejection, because I want to understand the mind frame or the perspective on rejection and obsession or retaliation. Because a lot of times when we are rejected, we act out. And we act out even we don't really feel the way we think we feel. Rejection tends to bring out a level of emotion that doesn't even exist as an illusion, but the idea that someone doesn't want us makes us act out in a particular way. So Martell, talk to us about your experience with rejection and obsession or retaliation.
So I want you all to pay particular attention to the fact that she says that rejection causes one to lash out or to act out. Is that why you were going to bash Melody a little further into this interview? We're not going to play the entire thing, but I just want to play sound bites. But I think that she lashes out because she was never picked. She was obviously never chosen, at least not enough. And any relationships she may have had were mainly unsuccessful. So she lashes out at women as a pick-me normally does. But let's listen to Martell tell his little web of lies real quick.
Well, considering that, I was married for like 12 years, so some of the things I will discuss, it will pertain to, my previous marriage or whatnot. And there was a lot of rejection going on there. And I guess some of the ways we really can't dictate how we're going to retaliate. And one of my retaliations was, again, I spoke about it earlier, was me cheating. And I feel that, though cheating is wrong, but I feel that rejection that I was receiving, it seems as if I had no, ladies don't get mad, but it seemed like I had no other option but to be out, almost.
Now, this spam will be whining about Melody plays a victim. No, fool, you played a victim, Negro. The only thing that you have to do is stay black and die. You stepped out, fool, because you wanted to.
Because I felt that I had the discussion with her on things that she wasn't doing. It's not like I was a stay-at-home husband. No, I was the breadwinner within my marriage. I was like the dominant parent and things of that nature too. But then, it's like you're not cooking and I can't have sex when I want it. And so that really pushed me out the door. But again, like I said earlier, I can't point the finger all at her. I have to look back at me of the reason that she was rejecting me. And
so I'm going to ask you, not to cut you off, but how long did you contemplate stepping out before you actually did it? Because that's not something that you decide in a moment's time. There were some things that transpired.
Crazy. I'm so sorry.
I can remember watching this particular video. I think it may have come out maybe in June, but I can remember commenting under the video, and I'm going to show you this comment in this video about how I expressed my thoughts about her being just totally biased and smitten by Martell. But just when this Negro is half-assed trying to take accountability, even though it's like a left-hand compliment, so to speak, even though I'm the dominant parent, I was the breadwinner. Oh my God, he is so egomaniacal. He has to big up himself at every turn. But that's what narcissists do, allegedly, right? But just when this Negro was trying to say, I can't put all the blame on her, I have to take some responsibility, accountability. Oh, no. Well, it just didn't happen just like that. It had to be some things that's leading up to that. So she's trying to throw him a lifeline. Like, how dare you take responsibility, black man, because she is the consummate advocate for men. She's male identified and she's a pick-me. So she's trying to reel him back in. She wants to shift the conversation. Honey, did you really think he was going to get with you? Because he ended up getting with Sheree, right? He needed to get with some type of celebrity or quasi-celebrity to kind of keep his little fame going because his wife gave him the boot. And for those of us who watch the show, know what I'm talking about. But girl, he ain't going to pick you. But let's listen.
But it's crazy that you say that because the first time that I met that particular person, it was the night that my ex-wife was supposed to go to me to a barbecue. We got into it that night. She was on a computer in the bed, and she made this statement to me. We got into it. She said, go out there and find your girlfriend. She said, I mentioned she was on the show, she admitted to it and all that, but she said, go out there and find your girlfriend, as she was up in the bed on her computer. And I'm like, wow. So honestly, that got into my spirit apparently because that night
Listen to her ass cackling like a daggone hyena. That shit won't that funny. She should have been pissed. Well, most women would be livid if they heard a brother talking about how he went to get another girlfriend and he's in a relationship and married no less. And you, like you happy about it. Child, he don't want your
Met the girl, I told her, I said, listen, I want you to be my girlfriend. That's always with my ring. Always with my ring. And I know it wasn't a good thing, but at the time, that for me, there was comfort, there was someone respecting me as a man and things of that nature.
Somebody stroke your ego.
And let's face it, we all know that Martell stepped out because, as I said before, he's egomaniacal, he's narcissistic, he's self-absorbed, and it's all about him. He could not take the fact that Melody was a rising star. She was shining, and in his little warped pee-wee mind, he thought that she was dimming his light. He's one of those Kevin Samuels disciples that feels as though a woman should be beneath a man. He's very misogynistic. He has an antiquated caveman approach to women. And just because you can't level up and get your shit together, well, let's face it, Melody married beneath her station, right? And not being judgmental, it just is what it is. They weren't equally yoked from a cerebral standpoint, just from intelligence. So not just even intelligentsia, just from a moral factor. They have different moral fibers. So everyone's not going to be brilliant. Everyone's not going to be an Einstein. I'm not saying he has to be a Rhodes Scholar, but he's just not even a good person, right? The fact that she was running the business, she had all the resources to contact. She was a face of the brand. And for those of you who know, you know because you watched the show, but for those of you who may be watching this video and you didn't watch Love and Marriage Huntsville, you may not know the story. So I suggest you go back to season 1 and get caught up. But let's continue.
Hell yeah, I needed that. I need it.
But talk about that. No, I really want you to talk about that because we don't acknowledge that. We're laughing, but he needed that.
Yeah. And Delicious just mentioned, she just asked me, did I feel guilty? It's crazy because in the beginning phase, I felt guilty. And it's like, damn, what am I doing? But I guess as time progressed, I felt less and less guilty. It almost like it became the norm. So I guess for that, it's like it was my escape. Almost for like some happiness or something like that. But for real though, I was in a marriage, my wife didn't complain about too much, really. It almost seemed like I was the one complaining. Like, damn. So, no.
She never mind.
Go ahead, Ted. I was thinking the same thing.
I was going to, and I'm not trying to be smart.
No, be smart. Go ahead.
No, I'm not. I'm just saying maybe it was a relief for her because she didn't have to, because I don't know
it's
your
hard
story.
As hell being a wife. I know that.
No, not even just being a wife. I don't know the story. I don't know her side of the story. Yeah. I'm just speaking from, I'm always a woman first. You know what I'm saying? Whether, even if I'm in a situation or I've experienced it or not, I'm still, a woman first. Yeah. So maybe it got to where you didn't fulfill her. So maybe she felt like I don't got to deal with this. Let homegirl, she knew somebody was doing it, but she didn't care at that point. Because she wasn't getting what she needed either. So I guess sometimes, I'm not trying to be smart because sometimes men always think like.
That's when communication comes in, guys.
But you won't communicate for 7 years.
No. So, hey, you guys got to go back and watch that goddamn show. So I communicated, and my thing was, I told her what she was not doing for me. And my thing was, she told me on the show, she said, what you should have done, you should have grabbed me and set me down, and you should have told me that if you don't take care of me, I'm going to go out and cheat on you. So she expected me just to be that transparent. But I feel that if I come up to you like, hey, listen, you need to start having sex with me like we ain't had sex in a week or whatever, or you haven't cooked and, it's me and the kids. I'm having to go out and get something to eat. I shouldn't have to.
Can I ask you a question?
Well, as soon as he grab her and sit her down, he going to be on Hollywood Unlocked because he didn't put his hands on her, so.
But then why didn't you? Because we always have the option to leave before it gets to that point.
No, I'm sorry, but listen, so communication, so I feel that she wasn't being fulfilled. I feel that she should have communicated that to me as well. And I feel that that's where we was lacking at right there.
Well, you know what, on the show, because I did watch some of it.
Yeah.
I heard you communicate to your wife on a numerous occasions, but there was something that I saw, like she wasn't listening to you. She just did. She told you what you was going to do.
Yeah.
It was, and you just looked, you would just listen, but your wheels was turning.
Yeah.
And I think she took the relationship for granted.
Yeah.
I really believe that. I think she got comfortable, and she just, because he's a excellent father. Like they have 4 beautiful children. And he was at home with the children while she was chasing her career.
Yeah.
And I was sitting here and I'm like, well, she just like with the play situation on season 2.
Yeah.
Because I watched season 2 because that's where it started to like boil over. So she said, you said, why are you going to do this play? You're just reliving, what we've already experienced. And she was like, I'm going to do the play and you're going to support me.
I'm not trying to cut you off. I've never watched it. I'm no disrespect. I never watched that. Well, I don't even watch my own show sometimes. So I never watched the show. But I can say that what you see on TV is only 20% of what happens behind camera.
Absolutely.
So she's not here. I don't know this woman now, but I can speak. And I don't know your situation either. And I'm not trying to make it like I'm down your throat because I'm not. But as a woman, I have to speak up and say, as a woman on TV, what you see is literally
not even 20%.
But listen, but listen, we have him here, so you can either.
In a lot of situations, 100% of what you see on TV is really what it is.
Yeah,
because it actually carries over onto TV. So some of it.
Well, the focal point on this particular show is their marriage. So you saw a lot of it play out because it was about
that was
marriage.
real.
Well, can I say
right?
something? Because this is probably why I'm never going to be married. And this is why specifically in my Love and Hip Hop contract, the only thing I told them they could not talk about is
Rebecca.
Yeah, one of the things I wanted to mention is that
connecting the idea that I have to stay in and I got to go.
Right. And so that's where I want to bounce past to Rebecca.
Yeah.
Baby, I am so glad that Tammy Rivera got Martell's nickel slick ass together and she didn't leave change, okay? And she did it kind of nice nasty, but I'm so glad she did. Girlfriend's just like, how do you know you were pleasing her? How do you know you were satisfying her? And no, I communicated. I did this. You notice he started to get flustered because, see, he was so used to Miss Chanel with her old pick-me-ass sucking up as you know what. Oh, my tail, grinning every 5 seconds and whatnot. Child, I can remember before they aired this panel, and it may have been May of last year, she had interviewed Martell as a prelude or whatever to this. And it was just the two of them. They were on IG Live, and she just a grinning and a skinning. Oh, Martell, well, I didn't hardly watch the show. I came in at this season. Fast forward to now, you notice how Captain Saving Negro had to come in because Tammy Rivera was getting his ass together. Oh no, she's like, wait a minute, you ain't gonna be on him too hard now. Well, see, I watched the show, and see, I came in for the second season when things heated up. I'm like, how in the hell it heated up and stuff got stirred up the damn second season when you ain't watched the first where it laid the foundation and really painted the picture of how this Negro was. Like, lady, bye. Anywho, child, and then I love how Tammy kind of came back around and gently roundabout kicked her ass. And it's just like, well, what you do see on reality TV is only 20% of real life, if that, right? Because here goes Martell. Oh, everything was aired on TV. I communicated everything. Because, see, he don't like when nobody challenge him. Child, and it's another part, and I'm not even going to show that because I don't even feel like grabbing that clip. But another lady challenged him, and in the audience kind of got in on it too a little bit. And he got really flustered, like, well, no, it ain't like that. Child, right. But right here, what you see on the screen now, when this first came out, as I said before, I commented, right? Because I was like, this is some bullshit. So pretty much what I did, I commented under the video. I was like, the host talking about Chanel was blatantly biased and not objective in the least. She exhibited internalized misogynistic behavior and is likely a bona fide pick-me. And it's apparent that she doesn't have the backstory of Martell's cheating in arrogant ways. And it's a shame that this woman bashed another sister, Melody, all in the name of siding with Martell. Heck, the host has never been married nor been in a successful relationship, it seems, but proclaiming to be a relationship expert. Okay. So yeah, I commented on that because I was just like, this is some bull crap. And I saw some other content creators comment and some other recognizable names. I saw Chit Chat with QT, love her channel. She commented too. And some other names of people who are known in these YouTube streets. But child, it just caused a stir in the ruckus. So anywho, you guys got to hear Rebecca Lynn Pope. And as I said before, she's a relationship expert and she is very insightful. She is dope. So stay to the end and listen to some of the feedback that Rebecca Lynn Pope gives to the audience as well as to the other panelists. As I said before, that sister should have been the one moderating and facilitating because she's the one that has experience. Her and Crystal XO alike, who I think just plays some other type of function for Shade Ministry or helping out ministry. All right, so now we're going to go ahead and close it out.
One of the things I wanted to mention is that it's easy to get in marriage and in relationships, it's easy to get in this tit for tat type of energy. And once you get into that energy, it is so hard to get out, because it's like you're trying to get back at each other. You're trying to one-up each other. And this is the point where it is mutually toxic. And how do you break that rhythm and that energy when now you've inflicted so much pain? It's almost like, let's see which one of us can hurt the other one the most. And now it just becomes all about ego and inflicting this pain and getting back at each other. And at that point, guys, like for me, my divorce, I checked out. I'm like, before I become somebody that I am not, and before I start doing things that are outside of my character, I need to get out of this. And he almost like hated me more for doing that, like very preemptively and proactively saying, I can go out 5 steps ahead of this and see this is about to get real ugly. I'm going to file for divorce. And what she mentioned about retaliation, I went through 3 years of torture and terrorism behind divorcing my ex-husband. He stalked me, he broke into my house, he stole money. I mean, he lied about me. I mean, retaliation and obsession is real. It's very real. And this is before social media was huge. I'm sure if social media had been around back then, I would have just been under the bus, he would have blasted it, because he literally just would tell anybody he could the most outlandish lies, everything became so exaggerated.
That happens to me every day.
I've been through that as well.
And so I think sometimes we underestimate also what we deal with as the rejecter. When you know you're in a situation and you're trying to navigate in a mature way to preemptively protect, especially when there's children involved. And man, it was a mess and it was a nightmare. And going through a divorce, because somebody has to be the one to say, I'm filing. Somebody has to be the one that says, I'm breaking up. This is not healthy. We can't do this. But like you're saying, there's this vicious cycle that it took me 3 years and a lot of therapy.
Can I ask a question? And I hope this is not off subject, because I'm listening to this conversation and I'm getting depressed. My friend told me, because when I was thinking about dating the person I took to Dubai, who I'm not ever gonna date again, like why? Wait, no, this is a real question.
Okay.
What is the purpose of having to get married? I mean, is that a real thing?
That's a real question.
Have to get married?
No, that's a real question.
Because after you leave the first, then you get the second, then you like, what makes you say?
And I was done.
Yeah.
I was done. I was single for 9 years, and I met someone so special. Because I had said, I'm not getting married again. I mean, it's gonna have to be like the most amazing, blow my mind, soulmate, sent from heaven. I mean, like that level of perfectly imperfect for me, right? That's what I put out there. I knew that.
That's him clapping right there. Okay, that's him. Okay.
I
I met him. He is a cool guy.
Yeah.
Okay, but how did you know when you saw him that he was giving you all those feelings that the other two didn't? Because
let me tell you something. When something's right and you've been through hell, and you meet somebody else who's been through hell, and then in each other you find this little piece of heaven, this peaceful oasis, sanctuary of love. That's the only way I can describe it. And it literally is gonna stand out head and shoulders above anything you've ever experienced. And that's when you're gonna be like, this is what this is supposed to be.